Yeah, so good day, everyone. My name is Schächter from Deutsch Connect, and we are partnered with Schächter Sports, who are represented here with two representatives from Schächter Sports. This initiative, we are starting it in a way to empower African coaches, but also African administrators and African football players as well. Schächter Sports are well known already in this field, not only in Africa, but across the world, in Asia, in America. And it's an honor to have them on board. So without taking too much of your time, I'll then want to hand over to the Schächter Sports team to do their introduction, but then more importantly, also explain in terms of the program that we want to do and what they also offer. So over to you guys.
Robin, you start?
Sure, thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Robin Licht. I'm currently the Director of Sports of Schächter Sports. As mentioned before, our company is currently the market leader in Germany when it comes to internationalization and the promotion of the Bundesliga and the Bundesliga clubs from first division all the way down to the third professional league in the world. Traveled to different countries in Southeast Asia, in North and South America, but also, of course, in Africa. I had the pleasure to visit South Africa, Joburg more specifically, as well as Nigeria with Port Harcourt and Lagos. So I also had the chance to interact with some coaches, clubs, and players in these two countries. Of course, there are many, many more, and I'm looking forward to my next trip down to the African continent. I hope that it happens this year. And together with the promotion of our German values, of our German football philosophy, we also want to give people worldwide the chance to visit us here in Germany to learn more about our approach. We always say that we didn't invent football. We didn't find the Holy Grail and figured out how to do everything a lot better than other people. But I think especially over the last couple of years, we reinvented ourselves. We found our way back to international top-level football. The German league is still one of the best, by definition, 5 leagues in the world. You can even argue if it's in the top 3. If you ask a German, they will probably agree with it. So we also want to give people a chance to see how we teach our young players to play the sport, but then also, of course, how we transition these young players from youth football, our youth pro academies, into adult football. And that's why we have piloted our German coaching clinic in the past, where we want to offer a combination of theoretical classroom sessions with our UEFA licensed coaches, practical sessions on the pitch, where we are going through different topics in real-time training sessions, as well as opening our big network of clubs up to the participants, where we meet with a variety of professional staff members of a German football club, such as Mainz and Kaiserslautern, as it was promoted in the past. And through this, we're hoping to offer a holistic program for our partners, where they can firsthand see how things are implemented in a German club, where they can hear it from the people that are working on a daily basis on the football pitch. Content-wise, of course, we always want to orientate ourselves on the interests of the people that are coming over. Football is such a big topic, such a big sport, that a month wouldn't be enough time to talk about all the different topics, which is why as soon as the field of participants is clear and the common interests that they share or the needs that they share in terms of their specific education and the people that they are working with, we will tailor make our program so that the questions they have will be answered at the end of their stay. They will be hosted by us here in a top class hotel. So not only will they be able to visit professional standard infrastructure when they're going to clubs, but also when they're hosted here, the rooms that they be staying in, the comfort that they will have in between our program points, and of course also the food that they will be able to eat will be from the highest standards. And we had good success with our last trip, where we had more participants from North and Central America, and of course are very excited to host the first coaches group from Africa, and share our expertise with each and everyone that is participating.
Thanks a lot, Robin, for that introduction. So, yeah.
Okay, from my side as well, I think Robin said everything from my side. I'm also part of going to the director of sports now, as soon as Robin is going as well, one step higher. And as he said, we are responsible for many clubs on the internationalization part of Bundesliga clubs here in Germany. And through that, coming to the point of the coaching clinics, we are very inside, and we are very introduced and well known with what coaches from Asia, what coaches from Africa, South Africa, North Africa, or overall North America, South America need. And as I said, this will be a good start from us together working with Africa, coming over to Germany, having the opportunity, going to pro clubs here in Germany, trying not to go too far. So we can do, for example, 6 hours drive, but we will not go on this direction. That's why we have Mainz, for example, and Kaiserslautern, which are like in a radius of 150 kilometers from where we stay. And if we talk about the youth level, if we talk about how many players they bring to the first team, they're one of the best overall in Germany, maybe one of the best in Europe as well. So combine all this together, I think it will be a good one, guys, having you over here to Germany, and try to bring the best possible experience for you as well.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I think everyone here already has sort of the draft plan program already. And I would just start by some of the questions some people already sent to me that are not in that are not able to be with us today. So to those that are already in, if you have any questions, please, you could just write the questions down as a message. Then I would read them to the team, and then they would answer. But let me go first. There's a question that says that in terms of certification over the 7-day period that they would be here in Germany, what type of certification would they get? That was one question that's there.
Yeah, so currently, obviously, also due to the time, it won't be German coaching license, as this is handed out by the regional FAs. We're currently in good conversation that we will be able to offer something like that in the future. But the German coaching license are a lot contain a lot more content that you can actually teach within a 1 week period here in Germany. But it will be a coach's certificate handed out by Schächter Sports in cooperation with the clubs, the professional partner clubs that are also involved in the coaches education trip of the coaches that are coming over here to Germany.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for that one. So a second one, it's not necessarily aligned with this trip, but it was actually something that it's actually a flip side to this. So there was a question that said that do you have a program whereby you can do grassroots training in Africa in such a way that you train tutors or teachers who train football players, not football players, young people in schools, then they would then in turn be able to train other trainers. So they were looking, these particular people are looking at grassroots level. Maybe these are people that are 12 years, 11 years, 13, 14 at that age. Do you have a program whereby the team actually comes from Germany, then goes to another continent like Africa for a week or 2 weeks where they engage in these type of training sessions as well?
Yes, good question. Yeah, we actually have a couple of programs like this. Of course, when we're traveling, since we're not an NPO, there has to be, I want to say a business case behind it. So it either has to align with the motivation of the partner clubs that we're working for. We're currently working for 8 Bundesliga 1 and 2 clubs in terms of their, brand promotion and marketing activities worldwide, and getting young players interested in the club, ideally through training sessions or educating their coaches in how to teach them according to the German curriculum, to the German philosophy, is one of the core parts of what we're doing. If it's not aligning with the intentions of one of our Bundesliga partners, for example, we talked about Mainz 05. They are very active in South Africa right now. Actually, we're the hosts of the South African Freestyle Championship in Cape Town at the Bayfront last October. So they're also willing to invest in certain football programs in the country. Then we as Schächter Sports have traveled to different countries in the past as well. But then of course we need to see the motivation and the general plan behind it. But we have done it in the past. We will continue to do that in the future, and we are very open to start conversations with people that are looking for these kind of programs, how we are able to set it up. Ultimately, we love the sport. We want to promote what we're doing. So it's one of the core things that we have done, not only in Africa, but all over the world.
Okay, thanks for that, Robin, as well. I think one thing that happened was on the time zones. I think when it's on our 11 o'clock in Germany, I think there was, because I can see 1 or 2 people now that are contacting me when I was asking them. So I think that was a bit of a confusion on that aspect. But anyway, we are doing the video still. They can able to get the information from the video as well. So
yeah, that happens.
Maybe let's take it back to those that are already in that Gausu Idrisu. Where are you tuning in from? If you can hear me, you're muted. Oh, Munashe, can you hear me? Okay, so we can put in the questions in the chat as well, so that if you we are not able to talk where you are, but then you want to ask something, please just write in this is the chat here. You can send through your questions in the chat. Then maybe, Robin, another question would be in terms, I think people are also interested to know in terms of the Bundesliga teams that Schächter Sports is partnered with?
Yes.
The names of the teams as well.
Okay. I mean, there are different level of partnerships that we have, right? I told you that we are representing clubs internationally. Yeah. Right now, probably the most popular ones that we are representing right now that we have signed contracts with are Mainz 05 and Werder Bremen from the German Bundesliga, and then we're working together with a couple of second division teams in Germany as well, such as Kaiserslautern, who is a very big traditional club. SV Elversberg, who's currently doing really well in fighting for promotion, as well as Arminia Bielefeld, who is a club that is also very active, specifically in South Africa, with a rich history of South African players like Darren Buckley, for example, who played for the club. And then we have grassroots partners as well, where we are working together on on a pro academy level, such as TSG Hoffenheim, who is one of the probably one of the best teams in Germany right now. When you look at the league, I think currently third place. Eintracht Frankfurt in our region, VfB Stuttgart, which is also a club that we used to work for internationally, but then good for them. Unfortunately for us, they did so well in the league, played in the Champions League and stuff like that, that they, made enough money to, to do it in-house, to basically hire some guys from Bayern Munich that then took over the international programs. So basically the contacts that we have created over the 4-year partnership together with them, they took over, which, is the business that happens. That also showed us that we did a good job, and they were able to, we similar to what we're trying to do with you guys, teaching what we know to others. We did the same thing with Stuttgart. So they decided they can do it on their own. But we have been also active in Western Germany with clubs like, we visited Leverkusen, FC Cologne, which is now back in the Bundesliga and a big club with a lot of supporters here in Germany. So those are the teams that we do not have an international partnership contract with, so we are not representing them internationally. But when we have our German programs, when teams are coming over from other countries, youth teams that are playing in competitions here, we have access to their pro academy. When individual players are coming over, when coaches are coming over, we have access to their youth academy, and we can arrange meetings, training experiences, and these kind of things with those teams.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Robin. Then maybe just also to put it in the African context, you talked specifically, I know the programs in South Africa. Which other African countries have you already gone toured or gone and done some coaching or training, number one? Then secondly, which teams or maybe programs from people from Africa who have come to Germany through the programs that you also do?
Yeah, so like I said, me personally, I've been to South Africa and to Nigeria before. Okay. As a company, we have also visited Ghana, worked together with a club in Accra, as well as in Kenya. We actually will host, similar to what we are talking about right now, a delegation of, Fotis, correct me if I'm wrong, 2025, people from the football business in Kenya. And we are hosting them here in Germany, preparing a trip over a 7-8 day period, and giving them there a bit more insights on the sports management, sports marketing component. That's why it's not completely the same as what we are currently talking about. But through our relationships, we also have, that kind of expertise and that access that not only can we, introduce people and talk with people about the sports side of it, talking to scouting directors, head coaches, youth academy directors, and these kind of things, but also to, the management component, to the, marketing directors, to the people that are working in sales, merchandise, and these kind of things. So this is definitely something that we are that we're very open to do. Our South African team trip program has been very well established now that throughout the year we usually host 4 or 5 group of youth players that are coming to South Africa from South Africa to Germany, where they are experiencing different youth pro youth academies, and not as a team competing against those academies, because the age variety in the players that are coming over from South Africa is too big to, you know, actually schedule games. We have, I think, 14 to 18-year-old players participating in that trip. But every trip that are coming over, we have 40 to 45 people. And then every day we'll be visiting a different club. They will get a training session with either a youth team head coach or the head of, you know, individual player development of that club, if they have someone in that position. And together with the training sessions with us, the documentation, you know, the scouts that are looking at them, we're able to give every player very detailed individual feedback at the end of the trip. So Fotis usually spends, you know, 4 to 6 hours on Saturday and Sunday to give every player an individual feedback where they exactly know, okay, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses. You know, this is currently the level that I'm on. We had individual players from Nigeria over here that tried out with German youth teams as well as pro teams, and that was the biggest focus. We're currently in some conversations in North Africa as well, so more on the country, that are at the Mediterranean Sea. But those were that are currently the most successful programs that we run.
Okay, so I've got 2 more questions from my end here. So it's nice that you touched on the administrative style, people and tools like that, because I actually got a question. She's based in America, but from Africa. She says, I've been researching sports career pathways in Germany, especially in sports technology and data-driven roles. And she's currently pursuing a dual master's in information systems and sports technology, and exploring career in sports tech, data analytics, and sports business analysis. So she was saying, she was commenting from our LinkedIn post about this. She was like, from your experience, so now I'll give it to you. Like, from your experience, is it possible to enter German sports job markets in these fields without initially speaking German, while learning it alongside work? I would really value your insights.
It's definitely possible. I mean, football these days is very international. I think also Germany as a country has understood quite early that if you want to have experts in a certain field, that you shouldn't, you know, only focus on the people that are living in your country, but especially for these very specific, you know, high expertise jobs, we have to look worldwide. You know, we do not have only German coaches in the Bundesliga or in the top 3 divisions. That means, you know, we also do not have only German staff. If you can speak English, that's obviously important. I would say the average English here in Germany is pretty good. It will always benefit you if you learn the language. It's never a disadvantage. But for sure there are no, it's not a requirement for you to speak German. More importantly is you know, what you have to offer in your CV. You know, how many expertise were you able to collect, not only on a theoretical side, but I think especially in Germany and especially in football, practical experience is very important. You know, our sport is one of the few that is still, with all the technology that we have, very hard to measure, and we are still looking for the best data to determine the outcome of a game. You know, back in the days it was possession. Now we know you can have, you know, 30% possession and you can win a game. I mean, when France won the World Cup in 2018, you know, I remember the game. I think they played against Peru and they had less possession than Peru had, but they were very, you know, efficient with their possession. Now you have packing, which is, you know, a German kind of invention. So, you know, with your actions, how many opponents are you actually able to pass? When you play a pass, how many defenders do you take out over the dribbling? I think this came up a couple of years ago, also 6-7 years ago, I think, already. So the practical experience is very important. These kind of trips, for example, having that in your CV definitely helps you sharpen your profile. And then you just have to find someone that is willing to give you a chance, similar to youth football. And when you want to become a pro, the competition is very high. And that's why there's also, of course, always a little bit of luck that someone likes, everything that you bring to the table. And German is definitely not a requirement, but as always, something that is definitely not a disadvantage if you know it. But it's a tough language to learn. I have to give everyone that. Fotis has mastered it now, but I don't envy anyone who has to learn it. I'm happy that it's my mother tongue, so I don't have to learn it again.
No, thanks a lot on that, Robin. And Portis, we should be speaking a bit of German to each other next time, not just English. But
okay, I thought you cannot speak German. That's why. So
nah, I can only say 9.
Okay.
That's the most important German word.
Ja, Spaß. Ja. Und jetzt, wir haben eine andere Frage hier. So I still have one last question before I look at the question. In fact, let me just go to these questions quickly. So Muna says, my question is on technical expertise on pitch management. Are there any programs Schächter Sports can assist with? That's number one. Let me just say both of them. Then the second one says, are there any courses that one can come and do in Germany from Zimbabwe? Might be grassroots analysis or goalkeeping. Those are the 2 questions from me.
Yeah, so I might need a bit more explanation on technical expertise on pitch management, just because I want to make sure that I understand, the content of the question properly. Pitch management. The German translation would be the guys that are taking care of the grass on the pitch, which I would assume.
Are they technical expertise on? Munashi, your question is this on before the game is played? Or
is it field maintenance or how you can work with it?
Sorry I can explain on that. I made more on the pitch on itself, like the drainage systems and all the things that concern everything that goes with the pitch.
Yes, I mean, there's definitely something that we can assist with, like I've also mentioned. The expertise within our company, so with our employees, is of course limited to the sports development side as well as to the sports marketing side. So this is something that in-house we can help, or we can more or less educate people on our own. Additionally, with the access that we have to our Bundesliga partners, we have access to every single component of what a German professional club has to provide. That can be from catering on a match day to infrastructure maintenance to, of course, every single aspect of the expertise that a coach on different levels or in different age groups has to have, which is why it's important for us before that trip happens, defining the kind of the framework and what we want to explore. As I've mentioned, 1 week is barely enough time to touch those specific topics. We will use it full efficiently, where, like I said, in the mornings we will have people invited to your location, whether that's Schächter Sports staff, if it's a topic that we have an expertise over, or people from other clubs that are coming there, and then basically having a lecture about it, as well as then in the afternoon, traveling into these clubs, into their facilities talking on ground with the people, having them prepare also, a presentation or a classroom or a keynote for you about the specific topics that are aligning with what we have decided. So for us, as I've mentioned, the African coaches development is fairly new, and that's why we're happy we have someone with the expertise of Kumbrai here in the call. We want to make sure that we understand the needs of the people and what you're looking for, and then we will tailor make that program for the coaches that are coming over to Germany. So if 20 people say, we want to know how Germany is able to develop amazing goalkeepers throughout the last 40 years, then let's put a focus on goalkeeper development for the week that people are coming over. Done, no problem. If we say, okay, we want to learn how clubs in Germany are able to develop professionals on that level, then this is the focus that we will set ourselves, and we will talk to the right people in the clubs that have done that amazingly over the past. Mainz is currently, I think, in the top 5 in Europe when it comes to minutes given to academy players. Having sold players for 20 to 40 million every summer for the last 4 or 5 summers. So they have a very high expertise in their youth academy in that regard, which is why this is definitely something that we're able to offer, but we want to make sure that if we have a trip together, we focus on a specific topic. As how wide the topic is can then be defined by us, but we want to focus on the topic, and then we want to make sure that we have the chance to really dive deep into that, so that you take as many helpful things for you back to whatever country you're coming from. So we can assist with I want to say almost everything, but of course it doesn't make sense to talk about every aspect of the game in 1 week that we're there. We definitely have to define what we want to talk about in that specific trip.
Okay, so I think what you've just said goes into the question from Lee. I think Lee, he's a coach in Zimbabwe, and they are also coaching at a university. They have a university team that plays football in Zimbabwe. So I think that's why his question is more aligned in terms of, are there courses available? I think this would not be just for the 1 week, but maybe, let's say, sort of like a partnership, be it a university exchange partnership, or whereby people could come from a university and come specifically to learn things of football related through Schächter Sports. Maybe that would be the question.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we have also done fairly recently. I think, like you've said, this is a little bit different to what we are currently discussing, but we have official partnerships between German pro clubs and universities worldwide. Currently, we're expecting a delegation from the University of Tsukuba in Japan that is visiting VfL Bochum, one of our partner clubs in Western Germany, where they will talk about a variety of topics. University football in Germany is not that big because we have such a high level on the club side, right? So the players will always focus on their club career rather than their university career. So it's not like in the US, for example, where the university is pathway to pro football. Here in Germany, it's more, I don't want to say competition because it's definitely not, but like a side recreational kind of thing. But of course, the U21s of the pro clubs can be looked at as, university teams because it's a similar age range that is training and playing there. So for us, it's always important that we offer our knowledge, and then the participants will take what they have learned and see, okay, these are 2 pieces that I can apply that work for my current situation back in Zimbabwe, for example, or Kenya or Nigeria or wherever. And I'm sure that we will also share a little bit of information with you that you are not able to work with. When we travel to Karlsruhe, for example, they have 7 pitches on their facility. Every team has at least half a pitch, if not a full pitch when they're training. And they might show you, different things that you as a coach in, I don't know, South Africa, in Joburg, you have maybe a quarter of a pitch that you have to work with. And, you can't play 11 aside at the end of every training session. So there we want to also understand the challenges that our participants are facing to make sure that we can actually give, as much valuable content to them as we possibly can.
Okay, thank you for that, Robin. And guys, I think this will be the last question. This question has come up a lot of times as well. I think you touched up a bit on that in terms when you talked about some players from Nigeria that also trialed. The issue of trials, I think there are a lot of academies that have reached out to us and who want to bring their players for trials to Germany. And that's number one. Maybe if you could explain in terms of what are the key important steps, or what is needed for a player who's playing in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, in Africa, and probably let's just go around from 16 to 19 years of age, for them to trial in Germany through Schächter Sports. What would they need to provide beforehand?
I mean, they have to be good first and foremost, right? I think it will always come down to that. We are not interested in working as a player agency right now, due to the background of the founder of the company. He was a former professional player, and through that, you often make some experiences with agents, especially back in the days, that were probably not that good. So he doesn't want to turn into the people that he disliked during his career, if you want to say so. Which is why when we are organizing trials for players, then we are getting paid for the service that we are offering. So we are hosting the players here, we are driving the players here, we are talking together with them to the clubs that they're trialing with. So we are part of the introduction, as well as basically the conversation about next steps. So actually you could say a lot of things that you also expect from a good agent to do, but we don't want to have a percentage of the future contracts or anything like this. This should all stay with the player, or if they decide to go with an agent, then that's a negotiation they have to do. But that's why when we are having players over here, then usually it's this trip is financed through the club that we are partnering with in that country. For example, our partner clubs in the US have all some funds for players that want to come over to Germany, and they want to give them that opportunity more or less for free. Our partner in South Africa is charging the people that are participating in those trips for that trip. Also there we are trying to make it as affordable as possible, while of course we need to cover our costs as well, since we are not making any money with the player in the future when he's becoming a professional here. So those would be the the off-pitch topics. And then of course, ideally what we're looking for is we want to interact with those players. We want to prepare them for the time when they come over to Germany in advance. That's why Fotis is traveling all over the world. He's been in South Africa at the end of last year, I think. He's in the US quite a bit. He was in Southeast Asia, to have the chance to work with players on the ground there, to then give them an idea, or to get an idea of what their level is, and to give them a recommendation, if it makes sense for them to come to Germany or not. That is only our opinion. So, just take it at that. It doesn't mean we are always right. But with the experience that Fotis has developed over the last, 6 years, and his experience as a international player. Yeah, he's originally from Greece, even though you can't tell by the way he acts now, he is very German. He was part of our program. He's experienced what the challenges are, what it needs to, for you to get a good feedback here and then also sign with the club. And that's why it's, this is something where we try to manage expectations before players are coming over. Next to that, we have to focus on the FIFA law, right? That a player from, I don't know, let's take South Africa as an example again, with only a South African passport, they're legally allowed to come to Germany to play for a German club at the age of 18. Before that, they can have, trips 1 or 2 weeks where they experience the level here and where they can basically take that as a development trip. But to sign with the club, they have to be 18 years old. So this is also something that we always have to keep in mind. And know some, again, coming back to some agencies, they're offering programs for 16-year-old players where they tell, a 16-year-old African kid, no, I can make you sign with a German club. By law, it's not allowed. Okay. Maybe they have found some gray areas, but I don't want to be the reason that, a 16-year-old player comes to Germany, pays money for it. And then the German FA is not giving them the player pass because they say you have to be 18 and then they're stuck here. So this is something, everyone needs to be educated about. By law, you have to be 18 if you don't have a European passport, if you want to play for a German pro academy or a German pro club here.
Okay. No, that's a very important point. I think because a lot of people also have a lot of misconceptions about this. Most of the academy players, they're 16, 17, you find them saying, yeah, my son is now ready to play in the German league. Or so, I mean, everyone's son is the best, is the next Cristiano Ronaldo, the next Messi, But I think that's a very important point to finish the webinar on that note, to say people can only play in Germany when they're already 18 years old if they're coming, let's say, from outside Germany, like from Africa, for example.
If they're coming on their own. There's always the opportunity for a family to move to Germany. But then, of course, you have the whole bureaucracy behind that. Why are you coming to Germany as a family? Do you have a job here that can provide for you? Because we are a very social state. People that can't afford to live here will get a lot of benefits from the state. And then, of course, we want to make sure that the people that are, that we can provide for the people that need those benefits here in Germany. And not that people from other countries come to Germany to get those benefits. So a move is possible, but you have to fulfill the requirements of the German government, which are very strict. And of course, you have to ask yourself, do you want to put the pressure on your 14-year-old son that the family relocated themselves just for you? Football development and your pathway to pro is never a straight line. There will be setbacks. And if you then have the feeling that you're letting your whole family down, and it puts a lot of pressure on the mental health of that kid. In some cases it has worked out. And I also know many cases where it hasn't. So if you come on your own, you have to be 18. That's the bottom line. Yeah.
Okay. No, Robin, and Fortis, thank you very much. I think we'll also then, Fortis will then be able to share the video with me. Then I can then also share it with those that wanted to attend. I think the focus that we are focusing on coaches. Then yes. If these coaches then come, then it's what they learn within that 1 week. It's not like we said, programs to get certified by the DFB and things like that. It's not a 1 week program. But what we are starting is a relationship which we can then build and develop over time. I think they say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. So this would be the first step, and then looking forward to then bringing through the academies, bringing through the young people. In return, like we also discussed, possibility of then going onto the ground in Africa, training teachers, coaches, and then the trainer program can also be developed. So thank you, Robin. Thank you, Fortis, for your time. Thank you to those that tuned in. We'll also then share this with the wider audience that were not able to come, and then definitely get feedback on that. But But thank you very much.
Can't wait to have you here, guys. Can't wait to have you here.
We appreciate it. And for us, I think the next step, the most important thing would be for the people that are interested, that they share, what they're interested about. So we can define a little bit more what we want to talk to, because that gives us the chance to provide you with an actual schedule, content-wise, what do we want to do on the individual days? What are the people that we are going to meet on the individual days? Which then gives the interested participants the chance to see if that trip is something that they want to do. Right now, it's still very general. As soon as we know, we want to focus on, tactical development from 16 to 18 years old, or we want to focus on goalkeeper coaching or individual development of pro players, or whatever it might be. Then we can tailor make the schedule for you and can send it over to you, so that people know what the week in Germany would look like to make a final commitment.
Yeah, thanks very much. All in order, and we'll surely get back to you on that. So
Perfect.
once again, thanks
Sounds
everyone.
amazing.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Have a good
Appreciate
day.
it. Bye.